Hello and welcome. It is basketball season here in the great state of Oklahoma today. My name's Chris Evans, by the way. I'm joined today by head coach Breck Clark of the Lady Jays, getting ready for year number 2 and probably a little bit more calmer this year compared to a year ago right now.
Yeah, it was. It's still a lot,
Sure.
But last year was just because, you just don't know all the little things that take place until you actually get into it. And so this year you're kind of prepared for that. Mm-hmm. So it's been a little bit smoother.
I bet it was nice to have a true off season where you can actually plan for it and go through it, camps, practice, all that stuff.
Yeah, because I think what we talked about in the interview last year when we went through summer, 2 summers ago. I didn't even know most of their names, so we were just like, go out there and play. And this year it was a little bit better. We could kind of put people in and see what works, what didn't work. So it made a big difference.
Yeah, and so, of course, last year's team, I mean, you always lose seniors. There's always those pieces every year, every level in basketball. But one of the big key things you're going to have to feel this year is, the absence of Angel Murillo, who not only did great things for your team, but had some great numbers and a lot of recognition across the state of Oklahoma. So what's it like to replace players like that? There's always going to be tough players to replace, but players who perform at high levels.
It's tough. Obviously, she was our main ball handler.
Yeah.
Everything ran through her. The good thing about that is that we have a couple of seniors this year that have really stepped up.
Good.
The summer everybody was kind of standing around looking at each other. I'm like, she's not here. You gotta go get the ball. And once they kind of realized that and got into that role, they're really working together. So like last year we had one really big piece and a couple of pretty solid pieces.
Right.
Now I feel like this year it's more even and more spread across. A lot more people can do more things. So good and bad.
Yeah, it is. And especially offensively, maybe the ball gets an extra pass or rotates a little bit more. So talk about some of your we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about schedule. There's a new format. There's new districts this year. There's new rules. We got a lot to talk about here on the first podcast here with head coach Breck Clark. But talk about your team and what we'll see from this year. First game right off the bat, December 1st on Friday.
Yep, first game, December 1st, this Friday, home,
Yeah.
Shawnee. So do anything.
Come on out.
Yeah. I think it'll be a good team. We're senior heavy this year. We have, our leaders are probably Ania Morgan, Mariah Dykeman, and Kinley Smedley. All three of them have really stepped up, and they really filled that gap of, filling Angel's spot. Plus more, and they get their teammates involved. Girls last year that were just new to basketball.
You're right.
They're not new to basketball anymore, so they can help us. Denise Doolittle, she'll be we actually have a post this year, so she'll be a bigger piece in our offense this year. We've got a couple of people, Gracie Ball, Kinley Denning. I mean, I could go all through.
Yeah,
Last year we only had 5 or 6 rotation. It looks more like a 7-8 rotation now.
Which for a coach is a lot more comfortable.
Yes, awesome.
Yeah,
so.
And you mentioned those first 3 players. Not only they also have varsity experience, multiple years of varsity experience.
Yes.
And then those softball girls came out last year, didn't get a whole lot of varsity experience, but got a lot of junior varsity, which is good to see junior varsity basketball. But that will only help. And plus, you're going through off-season scrimmages, so they're getting a lot of experience here pretty quick.
Yeah. Yes, they're going to help us a lot. We have a lot of multi-sport athletes, which is good because they, I think it's better to play more than one sport.
Yeah.
And they're going to be able to help us a lot more since they have that experience.
And a lot of softball girls, which is good because they come from the state runner-up this year. I mean, that can only help that mentality moving into the onto the hardwood.
Yeah, athletes are athletes.
Yeah.
So they know what to do, they know what it takes, and they've been really working hard.
And the first game of the year is Friday, December 1st, Shawnee. And you look at the schedule, there's only a handful of games every year. You really look at the schedule, it looks fun, but then there's only 6 home games.
Yep.
Back in the day, I'm getting to be the old guy, but it used to be 1 or 2 tournaments. You had more home games, but now 3 tournaments on the schedule. But talk about your schedule. You got Community Christian tournament, you got the Noble tournament, and the Kingfisher tournament. And we'll talk about districts here in a minute as well.
Yeah, all 3 tournaments are solid. We switched Woodward with Community Christian this year. A little bit closer drive, still really good competition, so I'll be excited to see what we do there. And then Noble, we're the defending Noble champs,
right,
so I'm kind of excited about that one.
The water bat, I remember you got the, what do they call that? Is that the water bottle Didn't they throw water on y'all, I guess?
Oh, no, that one.
Not that one. Okay. But, yeah, so, and then the Kingfisher tournament, the wheat belt.
Yes, yeah. We struggled in that one last year. The girls say they struggle in that one every year. They say that they're very big on, like, well, we play good in this gym, but we don't play good in this gym. And I guess Kingfisher is one of those gyms that they just can't shoot in and all that stuff. I'm like, well, let's see if we can kind of break that curse this year.
No regional assignment in Kingfisher then.
No.
For mental purposes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Well, one of the things in the off season is the coaches. I think it was the coaches who agreed to go with this, and some coaches are happy, some coaches are not so happy with district play. And so football, there's teams that qualify, or you play in a district, you have your non-district, then your district games, and baseball has that, and softball has that. Well, now basketball for the first time has that. So talk about districts in basketball.
Honestly, it helped us because our conference last year, the Suburban Conference, has always been just
year in and year out.
Year in, year out, just tough. So, either way, I'm like, well, if we have a tough district, we're used to it. If we have a weaker district, great. It turned out to be a little bit tougher. We'll play a lot of teams that we don't know, like Elgin. I mean, we played Altus once last year, but we don't see them a lot.
Yeah, there's the list of teams right there on your screen. Altus, Carl Everett, Crossings Christian, the bumping up. El Reno, Elgin, there's Guthrie, Shawnee, and Western Heights. So you still get a little flavor of the Suburban Conference in there. Then you throw in Altus, and a lot of folks aren't familiar with Crossings Christian, but they're down in the city off of off the Turnpike. And then, of course, El Reno, we all know as well. So I guess maybe the little difference there is Crossings, Elgin, and Altus. You got to make the trip there every other year for Altus. Our softball team has made the trip there before. And they're in that district as well. So, but it'll be different.
It will be different, but I think it'll be good. We'll see. And then, obviously, we don't do coaches' rankings this year anymore. It's all based on performance and all that good stuff. So it's going to be different. We'll see.
Does it the top 2, 3, 4? Is it the district standings? Kind of talk about that. Where you fall? Do you get to host and how that works?
I believe so. I feel like it's a similar setup, like the top 4 or whatever. I could be wrong, but it's the same thing except now we're just going off of like rankings is going off of performance based off of instead of coaches ranking like we did last year.
Another rule change that we talk about is it'll look different this year with the free throws and fouls, and we'll take a look at this new chart here. Some rule changes. So there's no more 1-and-1 free throws. The bonus will be 2 shots. Bonus begins at 5 fouls. Team fouls will reset after each quarter, and the scoreboard will show a maximum of 5 fouls per quarter. So gone are the 1-and-1s. You get to the 7. Used to be 17 fouls would be the 1-and-1 until you got to 10 fouls, and it was a 2 shot. But now it's kind of like the NBA.
Right. Yeah. A little bit
like the NBA. So you're going to play 5 fouls each quarter. Then you start shooting 2 free throws. And my understanding of that rule is they're trying to eliminate the physical play of the free throws, I guess. Less physical play, less horseplay. I can't remember what the official word they use, but less aggression in the paint.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of different things.
Safety is what.
Yeah.
I was at the summer conference in Seattle, and they were talking about it's a safety deal. One less collision on the 1-on-1. Then you go back for the second free throw. There's another collision, so they're eliminating some collisions.
Right. I mean, we're shooting quicker.
Okay. And another thing I remember, there were a lot of injuries were happening on free throws, so they were trying. So that is what the rule makers were saying when I was in that conference. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if it helps. Then we'll see if we
get
any less injuries. I didn't know that. So
yeah, that's what it said. But that will be different. 5 fouls, and then, or if it's 1-0, 2, whatever it is, erase it. Get ready for the second quarter. Erase it, third quarter, erase it, fourth quarter.
Yep, and it kind of takes away a little bit of game strategy and game planning too, because now it's like when a player goes up to the free throw line, there's no more pressure of, okay, like if we're down 2, if I miss this one free throw, like that's it. If we're down 1, whatever, and now they get 2 automatically, it kind of relieves that you call timeout, you try to freeze them, you try to get in their head, and that kind of goes away a little bit.
Right.
But we'll see. I mean, I've never, we've never done it before, so I have to see. You have to do it before you can judge it. So we'll see.
Well, and basketball is really changing. We talked about this rule here, districts. The shot clock's probably a couple of years away, if not sooner. So there's a lot of changes in high school basketball, and so I think the strategy, coaching has to change as well, right?
Coaching has changed. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just the different strategies. Now you get into the fourth quarter, you start off with 0 fouls, and there's the only time I really think of it is late in the game. You're needing to foul instead of need to get 7. You only
need to get 5. Yeah. Except the 7 was per half.
Yeah.
So it kind of evens out. It might actually be a little bit harder to get. It's hard to get to 5,000.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It was hard to do that in the scrimmages this summer, and junior high, it's the same for junior high too. And I've watched a couple of their games, and rarely does it get to 5.
Wow.
So, but we'll see.
It'll be interesting. A lot of moving parts this year. But again, first game Friday, December 1st. This week. It is game week. So how's practice changed this week?
A lot more film, a lot more scouting. We don't have a game Tuesday, so it kind of gives us a little bit more time to, prepare for a Friday game. But I think the girls are locked in. They're focused in practice. They're focused in weights and focused in film, and we're, all these moving parts are slowly coming together. So hopefully we'll have it together by Friday. Well,
and the schedule makers must know something. You open up with Shawnee, a team that you're very familiar with, and it's a district game right off the bat. So there's no eavesdropping. Like in football, you kind of, we'll get non-district, a bye week. Now we have district play. Basketball, first game out, boom, district game.
Yep. I think it's all district play.
Yeah.
Because we have to play each team twice, which makes for 14 games.
Okay.
One at their place, one at our place. So it pretty much fills our whole schedule. So the only non-district games we'll play will be the tournaments.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that either.
Yeah, we're going right off the bat.
Man, that is, of course, everyone's in that same scenario in all the classes as well. So, yeah, I got to make the long trip to Altus on a Tuesday. We couldn't get Altus on a Friday.
I did my best. Hey, there was a lot of play. We were going to have to go farther away. It was either going to be Altus or Guyman.
Yeah.
So, Altus is a little bit shorter of a drive.
So, final thought here. When you look at the 5A, Class 5A, is it the same teams that near the top again this year as far as you see it?
Yeah, on the girls' side, it's pretty similar. El Reno will be a heavy hitter. Sapulpa will be good again. Carl Albert. Now on the boys' side, with Crossings Christian moving up, that's going to be tough. But you never know. Last year, and also Glenpool, I believe they moved down to 4A.
Yes.
So they were a big hitter in 5A last year, and they were a very young team.
Yeah.
But then you've got Midwest City, 6A, that moved down to 5A.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be, 5A is getting a little bit tougher each year.
Yeah.
There's going to be 5 or 6 teams kind of all competing for that first place spot.
Yeah, and 5A, really all the sports has really gotten competitive, so which is cool. It's cool. You can see different teams move, like Crossings. I mean, it's different, so it's really cool to see that. So Friday, December 1st, only 6 home games, I think, this year, so want to get out there and support them. And we just got to finalize over the weekend, but we will be broadcasting Guthrie High School basketball as well as much as we can, especially the home games for sure. So be sure, if you can't get out to the gymnasium, you can always watch it, and look forward to that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think it's going to be a good season. So.
Well, I wish you best of luck, and the players a lot of success, and it'll be a fun time, and we'll talk throughout the entire season.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Head coach Breck Clark join us, and again, Lady Jays will play Friday night. Junior varsity, 3:45?
Correct. JV, 3:45. Girls play at 6. So.
6 o'clock tip, and get out there and support the basketball programs. We'll talk to you next time here on the podcast.